Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the final words. Manchester City 3, Everton 1. We're joined by Sarah. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball's app makes it easy to keep up to date with transfer news, scores, stats in one place. To download the OneFootball app, click the link in the description below. Do we? Yeah, so Man City beat us, apparently.
Apparently.
Feels ages ago.
It's done.
Those early kickoffs on a Saturday.
I'm over it.
Definitely.
Feel a long time ago.
They're the best kickoffs.
It was a weird one though, isn't it? Because it's like, it's nice to just kind of, we were saying this before, have it over and done with and just be able to crack on with the rest of your weekend there. I think, you know, we headed to City on the back of what were two very, very frustrating draws at home to sides that we should be beating. So there was people getting a bit tetchy and it put a little bit more pressure on the game. I say only a little bit because it is still Manchester City away from home and they are bloody fantastic. They really are. That said, we had opportunities in the game. They I think, still dominated the game. But we had to go at them. And had we taken our chances, we might have had a very different outcome. But it's been our problem for much of the season has been that we've not been clinical enough. When we've had golden opportunities, we've not taken them. And so we lost the game.
That's about the size of it, isn't it? I mean, going into it, I think if we'd have, take the derby game out of it, if we'd have beaten Newcastle and Watford or even won one of the two games, I think everyone would have felt a little bit, I don't know, less pressure or more, I don't know, more looking forward. So I wasn't particularly it's not one of those games, City away, never, as good as they are and they're fantastic. I don't sit there and think we haven't got a chance today. It's mad because when you go to to Liverpool or somewhere like that, you think this is going to be hard. The City was a different, mindset, I suppose, but obviously the outcomes was not great.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I don't know. You wish you had that mindset with every away game, don't you? Almost like, well, we can beat these, and if we don't, I suppose, if you don't, I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose if you don't, it's not. Not it doesn't matter, because of course it does, but it's like you never want to use the expect.
It's a weird game because because they are so good. You think, well, if they play well, they'll beat you. And on the flip side, as I said before, you go into the game, you're not worrying too much about it because you're thinking, well, we have done these before. So it is a weird one to approach. But as you mentioned, the two games before, I'm not getting 6 points out of those two games. Really,
knocked the stuff on.
Left us onto a bit of a hard to nothing really, because there was always, if what happened is what is expected to happen happens, you think, well, that's another game. So you're right, you win those two games before and we all go into it and we go, oh, we'll see what happens today, play well, and everyone will go, well, sound, we're moving in the right direction. It's just that because we haven't won for last 4 games, we haven't won. It's just. And then you look at well, we've got Spurs away now, and then we've got a couple of suddenly those 2 away games become tricky away games. Suddenly there's the missed starts to descend on a few people, and that's what makes it. No, but I understand that to a point, because it's not in the way we're playing or anything. It's just that again, because we've been in a decent run before we went into the derby, and you just think, well, all right, we'll see what happens in those away games, but the other games we've got to win, and obviously we haven't won them, so it does change the pressure slightly. But we went into the game and obviously no Garner, which meant, well, I don't know if it did mean going to 3 at the back, but we did go 3 at the back. Were you comfortable with that, Baz?
Yeah, honestly I was, because I didn't see anyone. Maybe Tom Davies could have come in to the midfield and we could have played with a flat 3, but Schneiderlin's too slow, so there wouldn't have been any point in putting him in, because they just passed and ran round him. So I can understand why he went to 3 at the back. We've got 3 very good, we've got 3 good centre backs, and I thought, and it did kind of work. It allowed us to get up the pitch with not so much Coleman, but with Luca Dean on the other side. We were allowed to play higher up, and as I've done on my tactics show last week, I highlighted the spacing behind their fullbacks, and that was the area which we exploited. And when we did exploit it, we looked very dangerous. So Yeah, I was okay with the 3 at the back. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I was okay when I seen it. So yeah, I can understand what he's trying to do. You know, let's see how we go with it. And I thought for the most part, I thought we done okay. I think it was individual errors, which I said after the game, individual errors cost us the game. I don't think the system cost us the game. You know, Pickford had to make a brilliant save from Michael Keane, but just that was part of a clearance. And he had a save from Riyad Mahrez, which was close to him. It was a good save. Other than that, they didn't have any chances in the first half. No. Really, they scored the goal and
which we gifted them
we give away. So I think if you look at the game overall, they didn't have a lot of chances in the game. So I think the system did work. I think it worked.
Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few changes, wasn't there? Obviously, that's the main one, going with the 3 centre-backs in the team. And it was, of course, because Garner had the late injury, didn't want to risk him. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the natural go-to. As you said, maybe Tom Davies could have come in. But you still want Gylfi in your side, although didn't really do anything, to be honest, to him. And he's been quiet. Love Gylfi. He's been great this season, but the last few games, he's gone missing. So, yeah, I'm with you a little bit on this one, Baz. I think, actually, it's been individual errors that have cost us in the game. You know, Yerry Mina, the first goal, that shouldn't be happening. And, you know, City dealt, you know, pass goal, and that's what they'll do to you. So you can't afford to make silly mistakes. You might be able to get away with that one against other sides, but you can't do that against Manchester City. You know, Richarlison should score and put us in front. I don't know, I say should score, people might say that's a bit harsh, but I think
he should hit the target.
He should hit the target at least.
Keeper saves it, he saves it.
Yeah, but, you know, and there was one, we'd done really well to get ourselves on. I'm skipping a bit ahead. We've got it back to 2-1 at one point after going 2 behind. They then make it 3-1, and almost instantly after that, you'd say Richarlison probably should score that chance where who cuts it back to him now? Lookman. Lookman come on, did really well. And Walcott as well has a chance that he blasts over from, or he hits it into the ground and it goes over from about 6 yards out. And I just think, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, you know, City, we went there and we puffed our chest out and we equalled City, but I don't think City were at their best. I don't think we were necessarily at our best, but you know, we definitely had opportunities to make sure we left the Etihad with something.
I think the way we've played, I'm encouraged because the way we've played now 5 of the perceived top 6 away, and I don't think we haven't been battered in any of the games. No. We've matched every single team. Saturday, they had a lot of the ball, but they didn't really do much with it, you know, and that's testament, I think, to what we did. And I think the good thing is we went there and we tried to just play our normal game. Yeah. And okay, they were better than us. Well, they are better than us. There's no point sitting here going, we're better than them and we shouldn't have, because we're not better than them.
Exactly.
They're better than us, but we still had a right good go. I watched it with me mate, my dad and my mates fuming at us trying to play out from the back, but what's the point in changing the way we play to smash it long? Because the minute it leaves your foot and goes up in the air, it's a 50-50. So if we start booting it long and then next week try to pass it out from the back, how are we ever going to learn? You've got to learn how to play. Yes, you have to be quicker. Yes, you have to take a bit more care. Of course you do, but the only way you're going to learn as a football team is to do what you do every week. Man City under Guardiola first season finished 4th. Had to win a lot of games at the end of the season to scrape 4th. The amount of goals they give away from Arsenal out with it at the back, because that's how we wanted them to play. Yeah. Now, they're fantastic at it. They still give you chances because we got the ball back a few times. So it is what it is.
Stick to your guns. Stick to your blueprint.
You're looking like you've got it sold.
I thought Man City could have put 8 past us on Saturday. I really do. I think they could have scored any time they wanted to. And I'm not saying that's that's down to us. I just think they could have stepped up any time they wanted to. For me, the system would only have worked properly if we had some command in midfield, and I don't think we had any command in the centre of the park. Like you both said, I think Gomez, he tried to get on the ball, but he was so deep at times. Because I think with a 3, I think it's fine when you can push up a little bit, but the way we were trying to play, and I think it showed on their first goal, is Mina gets the ball in our own box, and then where does he go? Because they're so good at pressing.
Yeah.
Where does he go? And to not have anyone from midfield to almost protect that 3 Or I just thought that was the only. I just thought that was the position we were let down in, was not having someone in midfield who could just protect.
Well, who would you have put there?
I'd have put Tom in there.
Yeah, but Tom wouldn't have done that.
But he would if you'd asked him to, though, because he can get. Well, he can't. You've seen him do it. Tom can get around the pitch. Gylfi plays higher up, and I don't think Gylfi can do. Don't think Gylfi's going to drop off and ask for the ball in that position. Gomez was, but I just thought City's press was so good that they just don't give you any time, and I thought that showed on our players. I just thought and I slightly disagree with you what you're saying about going long, because I think Man City, what they're so good at is going long. I think what Man City are brilliant at is sucking you in, and then when they and this is because they've got the no matter what they say, it's because they've got the best goalie in the Premier League. It's because their goalie can get the ball and put, hit someone 60 yards on his thigh if he wants to. He's so good at it. So I think they can go long, and I think that's what makes City so good and so dangerous. Is they bring you in.
Don't talk about us going long.
Well, I think we've got to learn to be able to go long now in the same way. I think we should be able to learn that role. I think I think City have shown that at times.
Yeah, but to smash the ball off from the back, right?
No, it's not smashing the ball.
No,
we've got a goalkeeper.
You're not listening to
I am listening. We've got a goalkeeper. Well, I am. We've got a goalkeeper who I think is exceptional as feet, but is erratic because he just gets like almost ahead of himself at times. But we've seen that. When he wants to, he can hit anybody when he wants to. I think that's a skill that we've got to learn how to use. Is that you don't always have to play out the back. And when City do it, when they go long, it's long in a brilliant way. It's like pinging it to people.
Rocket,
that's what I'm saying. They drag people in, and everyone goes, "Oh, these are going short, so we'll press." And you're absolutely right about what you're saying about Man City. By the way, in the first season, absolutely spot on. They were getting caught because their goalkeeper was shit.
Yeah.
And every time he'd give the ball to like John Stones, people would press on them and they'd give him it back, the goalie, and the goalie'd make a mess of it.
Yeah.
But now they've got this goalkeeper, they just dragged him in, and then he just goes, "Oh, I'll just knock a little cheeky chip over," and that's what I'm saying. I think that's an evolution.
Is on Pickford then, isn't it?
Well, Pickford's got to get better at that because there's a kicking.
But what I was trying to say was, if and this won't happen, so it doesn't matter if we agree or disagree, because the manager will want us to play the same way. I remember City beat Watford 6-0 at home last year at Watford, and he was going to Chelsea the week later, and the commentator was like, "You're going to have to change the way you play for Chelsea." And he was like, "We'll never change the way we play. Doesn't matter, we've lost here. We'll keep doing it until we get it right," which is how you coach.
Yeah.
But I'm talking, if you're going to hit a ball long, you've got to have a centre forward who can actually get hold of it and knock the people about. And Dom done all right. There's no question. Some people, if you look on social media, some people will tell you he was horrendous, and he wasn't.
No, he
but
definitely
he's
wasn't
still
horrendous.
not good enough to play that role on his own and be able to take balls down and knock people about. He doesn't do it. He's a runner. But you still, I disagree with you saying they can score at any time, because I think if a team is that good, they would. I just don't believe that teams haven't got it in them to go, "We'll step up a level now." Because they couldn't have stepped up a level. They were trying their best to get that game wrapped up early, and they couldn't do it. They weren't capable of doing it because they didn't cut us open. The goals they scored were our mistakes. They never once went bum 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 and wasted it because we let them down, because they let themselves down.
Yeah,
they didn't ever get the chance to do that.
And again, it was our mistakes. As I said, Sterling comes on, scores a header that he's no right to be anywhere near with, and
the first goal is us playing it short. Now, what Mina should do, you're right, if he gives that back to Pickford, because Pickford tried one, I don't know whether it was 0-0 or 1-0, out of his hands with great ball to the Charles, and he's just a little bit over it,
in the second half,
and he was one the first half, and he's like jumping going, because he almost had him in. You're right, that's probably what we should have done a bit more, was just kept it until they were right on us, rolled it to Pickford and let him bang it to Richarlison. What happened on that one with Mina for the first goal is we're passing it, Mina's touch is a bit heavy, which takes him back into our box, and then
straight down the middle.
He hits it back into play. But I suppose you have to give the credit to who's closing down. He blocks off this pass, so you have to make sure you connect with it properly, and he doesn't. He scoops it, and then Zuma, Gundogan takes it. Zuma has to move towards the ball, and he doesn't. He stands off him, and two passes it to goal, isn't it? And you're like, the game is the game wasn't even because they had a lot of the ball, but they weren't doing anything
No,
with
and
it.
I think at that point, when they score as well, psychologically, the damage I think it does when you go to a ground like the Etihad and you've had a golden opportunity to get yourselves in front. And we started the game brightly. This was like within the first sort of 15 minutes, I think. And we should, as I say, in my opinion, there might be people saying, "Oh, it's hard to say he should score." I think we should take the lead there with Richarlison. I think he should bury it. With them 1-0 up, 15 minutes played, and we've got something to play for. I'm not saying, look, City are unbelievable, and I get what you're saying as well, Ped, that they could have turned it on a bit more. I've had people messaging saying they were there and it felt like City were in second gear. But I'm also with you and thinking, you know, at one point when it's 3-1, as I say before, Sterling scored, which he shouldn't. We had an opportunity straight away after that, and we'd be 3-2 again, and then they're thinking, well, maybe they did. I don't know.
Did we coast against Newcastle?
No.
No.
We were just poor.
Right, okay. Did we coast against Watford? Because we are so superior to those two teams.
Yeah.
If you can turn something on like that, you'd never lose a football game. You can't. People can go, they'd step up. Well, they might, if it had gone 2-2, maybe they would have stepped. I don't know, but they weren't capable of stepping up at 1-0 or 2-0. They couldn't step up anymore. They have to rely on us to give them their goals. If they cut us open and go, well, at Goodison last year, they were 3-0 up, and you're right, they could have put 8 past us that day. They literally did go like that. They took foot off the pedal. It doesn't matter now. I don't think they did that on Saturday. I don't think they were capable of doing it Saturday. I really don't.
Well,
whether they were pushed, your man was absolutely fucking world class, by the way. Midfield, Fernandinho. Oh my god, everything they did just come through him. Everything. He won tackles, he passed it, he got it back, he was up and down. And you're right, we didn't have anybody who could do even,
that's what I'm saying,
even a shadow
it's the energy,
of that job.
You have to match that energy, don't you? I don't think we had anyone in the centre of the park who could match that energy. I think Garner was, you know, he's a massive miss in them kind of games. He's the pivot point for everything. I think that was a huge miss, and not.
Is that an area where we really have to be looking to?
Well, we've got to, but the other part of the pitch, and we haven't even spoke about this really, is you're going 3 at the back, you rely heavily then on your wing backs. Seamus Coleman again, man. I'm not going to sit here.
We all love him.
No, we're not going to sit here.
Playing well,
but the thing about it is, right, he's not playing well, right? And I've said this a couple of times. I think we both said it is. But it's so obvious that there's no one on the bench that can replace the lad. Then automatically that says to me that they don't feel like there's anyone near him. They don't feel like John Joe Kenny's anywhere near him. They don't feel like Holgate's anywhere near him. And obviously there's no one. I'm not even hearing of anyone coming through.
No, don't think
so that's got to be. And you know, listen. If you listen to people outside the club who don't watch us, they probably wouldn't know their arse from their elbow. You ask Paul Mason. Paul Mason would probably say he's having a fantastic season.
Oh yeah.
Just people don't understand. The way I look at it is when people say it's like we've got everything in this world. There's like black and white now, isn't there? If you criticise Seamus Coleman for having a bad game or having 3 or 4 bad games, well, he's the new whipping boy. He's not the new whipping boy. There's never a whipping boy. Phil Walcott wasn't the whipping boy. If he's not playing well, you can say he's not playing well. You don't say we're not winning games because he's not playing well. The same with Seamus Coleman. The way we've got to look at it now with Seamus Coleman is, and that not having that person on the bench says to me, we have to be looking now to bring somebody in
100%.
who can go in and try and replace him.
Yeah.
That, you know, whether you think Seamus Coleman is finished or if you think, no, he's just having a blip, he's coming back, whatever. My heart hopes he's, you know, coming back. My head says something slightly different because of the injuries. But we've got to be preparing for life after. That's the same for every single position. Yeah. And it's these moments that, listen, when everything's good, you're like, oh, he's boss. Oh, he's boss. Oh, he's boss. When you're having these moments, you go, nah, we could whip this whole team up and start again. Because that's sometimes what your mind says. What they'll be saying is, Marcel Brands and the manager is, right, we need to be looking at that position seriously.
Yeah.
Gylfi Sigurdsson, Seamus Coleman, Garner, anyone who's around 30, you should be looking anyway.
Yeah.
You should be looking and going, who's going to replace him?
If we could get a player better than Richarlison, you should be getting a player better than. I love Richarlison, we all do, but if a left winger come on now and he went, oh, well, he's amazing. But it might mean Richarlison has to battle to get in.
But you've got 4 there, haven't you? You've got Theo, you've got Seamus, you've got Gylfi Sigurdsson, and you've got Garner.
Yeah.
Players all around 30 who are supposed to be at the peak. Some might have gone the peak, but you've got to be that's what Marcel Brand's job is now, is to be looking at replacing those 4 players. Really,
it's even having people who can battle for that position properly. So if I don't play as well as a Candu Ped replaces me because he's at the same quality, it's not a fact of like just because he's saying we need another right wing back or a right back who's as good as Coleman, who can take Coleman's place for it. That doesn't mean Coleman's shit and he's finished and he's gone forever. That might just mean this lad's wrestled the position off. And the same with Gylfi, the same with Walcott. I think Walcott's got loads to offer. Do I think Theo's playing well enough to guarantee a place every week? No, I don't. I don't. Do I think Lookman can? I don't think Lookman can play that role. Do I think Richarlison can possibly if we had something better down the middle? Doesn't mean I think Theo needs to go now. That's it. You're gone.
No,
I've seen people on Saturday. Yerry Mina, shite, what the hell are we doing? Fucking put Zuma's miles better, and you're like, you loved Mina 2 weeks ago. Alright, he hasn't had the greatest week, but he's just come into the team. It's gonna
take time. Mina has been somewhat.
He was a bit ropey Saturday.
He was ropey on Saturday, and I think you could probably say similar for maybe the previous 2 games as well. But he's not played anywhere near enough games, and you want Yerry Mina and Keane playing because there are players, and we've spent a lot of freaking money on them. Zuma, I really like Zuma. I would like to see Zuma come in. To be honest, having said that, on recent form, you'd probably want to see Zuma come back in. But look, Yerry Mina, I've got every faith that Yerry Mina is going to turn out to be a good signing. But he needs to work.
23 as well.
Yeah, he's young. He doesn't look it, but he needs to work hard.
But Michael Keane wasn't brilliant on Saturday, and neither was Mina. Well, what's the common thing between them? Because they're playing in a 3 for the start. You're changing the positions. Normally, with Mina picks that, let's just say normally Mina picks that ball up right there. He's got a left back next to him normally who might come and get it off him and then give him it back. And then you're changing the point of where you come out. You've dragged someone into Dean.
They were higher up.
Dean gives it back to him, and then you turn round, and then you've got Keane right next to you. In this system, he didn't have Dean. Dean's up the road. He's around the corner,
and he didn't even have Coleman square.
And
Coleman's up the road.
So it's those little things that can make a difference. And if you've just come in to the team and you're bedding in with new players anyway, all those things can matter.
But isn't that, I look at that and then think, well, he'll look at that obviously because we're looking at it. The manager will look at that and go, well, alright, well, we might want to play this system again. What have we done wrong in this system with it? And it's about learning. If we're 3 years down the line or 2 years down the line we're still making them errors, then you start going, what's going on?
We need a striker.
And a right back. And a midfielder.
But preferably a really good striker, then a right back, then a midfielder. In that order. For Christmas, please, Mr. Brand.
I mean, technically you could sign them because
we just couldn't unveil them until.
Well, I've seen other teams unveil them.
I've seen. Wasn't there a Christmas tree involved in that?
Where did they put the Christmas tree with Daniel Sturridge? We'll never know.
Would you have Daniel Sturridge, by the way?
Would I have him? I would have had him 2 years ago when everyone was buzzing and I was like, go and shine.
No, would you have him now? So, like, on loan?
You'll find that answer out on Patreon. So tune in over there. Also subscribe, click the bell for alerts. Also, Sarah's YouTube channel. What's it called?
Oh yeah, so it's The Bird Is Blue.
Have we subscribed to that yet?
I think you have actually.
Of course we have.
I can't see.
I have.
See, there's loads of there's like loads of ASMR.
That's your channel.
And then some always like a little bit. Oh, we subscribe to Sarah.
I was going to say.
Sarah, maybe if you
Sarah's doing an AS.
This is the match preview for Everton ladies.
Do you know?
Get involved in the ASMR. I'm telling you, it would make you.
It's coming.
Well, on that bombshell, we'll see you later.
See you soon.